So, welcome all. So, I'm going to share the presentation screen. So, Anand Institute of Higher Technology is arranging one webinar for 1 hour. So, we have divided this webinar into two parts. The topic of the webinar is scopes and repair methodology of civil engineering works. So the part one will be the scopes of civil engineering works, and the part two will be the repair methodology of the civil engineering works. So we divide the two parts into 30 minutes, 30 minutes, so 1 hour webinar. So I want to share the screen with you people now. So here you can see the things. Hope so the screen is visible to all of you. So okay, so I am very much thankful to our management for giving me this opportunity and for conducting such a good webinar, and so that people also can utilize this time. So first we will see about the scopes of civil engineering works. So if you want to know about the scopes of the anything, whatever that it may be of any course or anything, you should first know about the thing in detail. Without knowing the things, you cannot understand the scope directly. So actually, originally scopes, it means the whole thing. If you want to know the scopes of some work, you have to know the in and out of the work. As well, the same thing, if you want to know about the scopes of some course, you have to know what is the score is, what is the course is, and without knowing the course, how can you understand what are the different opportunities and the things that will come to you after doing this particular course. So this will be little brief about the civil engineering and different scopes of civil engineering. So this session is divided into three modules. If you see, the three modules are different areas and branches of civil engineering, and the different functions of civil engineers, and the different job opportunities that are available of civil engineering across India as well as abroad. So we'll see the things in detail in the upcoming slides. So these are some of the definitions of civil engineering from different persons, from high personality persons. So Royal Chartered Institute of Civil Engineers, London, they have defined civil engineering as the art of directing the source of nature for the use of mankind. So why they have explained these things in such a way? Because if you see broadly, all the materials that we are using for civil engineering construction and for the, whatever maybe the construction, maybe the building construction or public sector units or whatever, we are using 80 to 90% of the materials as a natural resource. If you see the aggregates, the stones, and all, even if you see cement is also okay. That is also is a manufacturing product, but the raw materials that you're using for manufacturing cement is also the natural source only. There is nothing chemical. Nowadays we're having a lot of chemicals and a lot of artificial things as well. But if you see broadly, 80 to 90% of the things are natural resources. So they have explained that it's art of directing those resources to the use of mankind. And in my word, if I say that civil engineering is in a very simplest way, it's nothing but the engineering which deals with the civilization of human being. So why I use that word civilization is actually civil. That word civil came from civilization or civilize. So if you see that we are developing the lifestyle of human beings or this particular species across the globe by developing the infrastructure, or by developing the so-called technology or engineering, we are telling it as civil engineering. So we are developing day by day everything for the ease and comfort of human being or humankind. So it's I have just used that comfortness, that word, as a civilization. So the engineering which deals with the civilization of human being is simply called as civil. As Frederick from that metric, that handbooks, merit handbooks of civil engineers. From there, I got this definition. I hope that it is very effective. That's why I have used this here. So as Frederick, he explained that civil engineering is that field of engineering which concerns with planning, design, and construction of environmental control, development of the natural resources. So here again, he have used the same thing, development of natural resources. So we are developing, so the raw materials which is available in nature, we are just developing the things for the comfortness of us. So, and then buildings, so transportation facilities, structures required for all those things, that health, and then welfare, social safety, employment, and pleasure of mankind. Yeah. So he explained the thing. So he just include all the domains of civil engineering in his definition. So we are going to see all those things in detail in the upcoming slides. So, okay. So here we just, as I told the couple of slides earlier, we are going to see about the different areas and branches of civil engineering. So the first the branch or the area, we can say it is surveying and leveling. So surveying, everyone know about surveying. And if you say surveying, that a lot of people, different people, those who are technical or non-technical people, they will say that surveying is something like measuring, or measuring area, or you just take a tap, go this side and come this side, do some measuring. So these are the things we see that people used to do when they do survey. But survey is an art of measuring a complex thing into a simplest way. So in one line, if I say, because we don't have enough time to explain, so this is a domain of civil engineering, so it's not possible to explain in detail. So survey, you can say it's an art of measuring something. It may be physical quantity, it may be physical data, or it may be whatever. Maybe some other data also. It's an art of measuring something, or measuring a complex thing, or measuring or calculating a complex thing in the simplest way. So it deals with the measuring of distances, measuring of angles. So it angles may be both horizontal angles or as well as vertical angles, and then that height as well. So the height, when we are going to measure something for in vertical direction, we used to call it as leveling. So we are going, in surveying, we are going to measure distance with respect to mean sea level. So that particular part of surveying is known as leveling. So this is very, very important for as a prior work of construction. Before doing construction, and leveling and surveying, especially leveling, is very, very important. You have to understand each and every that height of that particular ground level with respect to mean sea level. So this will give you a data, or this will give you a that understanding how much sand filling work you have to do, or how much leveling work, smoothing work of ground you have to do. So this is also a very, very important domain of civil engineering. So next one, it comes at building, planning, and construction. Actually, this domain, this branch, actually I have mingled here. So this is this domain again is divided into 3-4 areas or domains. This particular second, the point number 2, building, planning, and construction, you can divide it into multiple areas. Actually, building here is not building of construction, building of buildings or whatever the particular elements we're going to build. It's like building of everything. It's building the relation with the society. See, when you are going to do some work in any particular site, you have to build a good relationship with society, because it's not a 1-day or 2-day process. So each and every steps, they have to allow you people, so that you people can able to do a very smooth or very good construction work over there. So building means building network with the different sectors. It may be a material resource or whatever. So the building here in this step is I will tell that it's a building of whole network process. This is very, very important before construction, and the building process as well. So different types of construction that processes are there, building processes are there. So this particular domain deals with all those things, and planning, you from the name itself you can understand proper plan should be there, and constructions as well. Different types of construction methods are there nowadays. Underwater construction, then you can say that the bridge, flyover, then in hilly areas construction, then in the temperature is very low in the polar region of our globe. In that particular area, we have a special construction process. If you see the tropical region of our country as well as the tropical region of the globe, there also we have to adopt some special process of construction. And so based on different situations and based on different that weathering conditions, we have to adopt different types of construction techniques. So each domain deals with all of these things. So here comes the third one, is the structural engineering. So structural engineering is the utmost and very, very important domain of civil engineering. Here we used to see all the things, means all the analysis, how a structure is behaving with different type of factors. The factors may be loading factors, it may be environmental factors. Environmental means here when a structure is open to a normal environment, different types of loads are coming. Yeah, suppose wind load is there. Now you can say what is it? It's very negligible. No, it's not negligible. For us, we can have a good feelings when we enjoy the wind. Wind is blowing towards us, but for structure it may be devastating also. So based on these things, different types of things are there. We in the structural engineering we are also going to see about the chemical composition of the concrete system, reinforced concrete system, pre-stress concreting system. So this structural engineering domain is a very wide domain in civil engineering. Here we will see the design process as well, and this is a very, very important domain of civil engineering. So a person who is very good in structural engineering he is really a very good skilled civil engineer. Now here comes the next one, advanced construction. This is some newly they have adopted this as a domain of civil engineering, because there are some special types of construction, special requirements are there in construction for for serving those particular purposes. They have developed a new construction era or new construction part, which is known as advanced construction. In advanced construction, you can see, suppose the construction of dam with the spatial river flow. Suppose the flow of river is not normal, or it's not you cannot study the flow of the river, how it's flowing, how the water is flowing, given the velocity. If it is quite impossible to go, so for such different particular or some typical type of situation, we have to adopt some advanced construction techniques. Underwater construction. Previously, it was very, very difficult for constructing anything underwater, but now it became very easy. So there are different techniques nowadays coming. So this domain which deals with the different techniques and most important advanced techniques is known as advanced construction. Here comes the next one, as the geotechnical engineering. So some people also used to say geotechnical as soil mechanics and foundation engineering. In that particular domain, you will see about the properties of soil, the load-bearing capacity of soil, how the soil is going to behave with the upcoming load from the superstructure. So these are all the things we are going to see in this geotechnical engineering. So actually, all the things actually are the different areas and different not subjects. These are you may get all those things in the subject, but these are all the different domain of civil engineering. So it's not possible to explain each and everything in details. I am giving just a brief of all those things. So water resource engineering, here we can discuss that this domain is totally based on that resource of water, the water resource, how the resource is going to be transferred to the humankind. There should be a proper plan of transferring this water resource to the human being or to the mankind. That particular planning and designing of all those things is coming under this domain. So here you can see about the construction of dams, so that metro water service, and the different types of drilling systems are available. So how the resource water can be easily accessible by the humankind, the technology what is used for this, or the engineering what is used for this, is concerned with this domain. So the next one is that transportation engineering. So from the name itself, it is very very clear. That transportation engineering is which is that engineering deals with the different transportation sectors, how to make these things suitable and how to make these things usable and user friendly. So that particular engineering is known as transportation engineering. It deals with railways, harbor, airport, road construction, each and everything. Whole transportation process has been discussed over this domain. So now the next one is environmental engineering. So this is nothing but the ecological system, how to balance the ecological system of our society, how to treat the sewaging system, the sewage water treatment and all those things comes under this environmental engineering. It deals with the different purification process of water as well. And a lot of things that the domains it comes also in this environmental engineering. In brief, it is the engineering or the technology what we are using for maintaining or balancing the ecological things of our society is coming under this domain. Now that the last one is town planning. So town planning is the proper planning of a town. How to do a proper planning after not only something that making of roads and whirling with some buildings for whirling with the roads, not like that. It's a proper planning for each and every aspects. From each and every aspects we have to think, and each and every element of our society, how it should be planned, what should be done and what should not be done. Each and everything is used to be discussed or detailed over there in this domain. So these are some of the important. I will not say these are all the domain available. These are some of the broadly, if you see, these are some of the broad domains of civil engineering. Why I am discussing all those things, because without knowing all those things, you may not understand what are all the scopes a civil engineering should have, that they're having, that a civil engineering is having. So these are all the some of the branches and areas in civil engineering. So next, we'll see about the functions of civil engineering. So this is very very important. Being a civil engineer, what the role you should play and what are the functions are there for civil engineers. It's very very important. You should know. Everyone should know. Civil engineering is nothing like that. Get a degree and go to the site and do some work, come and again go and do some work. It's not like something like that. So each and every step you have to apply. And the most important thing here I want to note is civil engineers always deal with the nature. So we are dealing with the nature. The persons who are civil, we are dealing with the nature. So it's quite important to know the in and out of the technology of the engineering to come up with a successful result. So in broad, I have divided the whole function of civil engineering into three parts. One is before construction, and what are the functions that civil engineers perform before construction, and what are the functions civil engineers perform at the time of construction, that is during construction, and what we have to do after construction also. So these three parts I have divided. So first we'll discuss some of the works that civil engineers should do before construction. The first one is the feasibility study. We have to make a very good feasibility study about the site, materials that we're going to use, and the technology that we're going to use for the whole construction process. So everything should be studied before itself, not after the execution of the work or at the time of doing work. Everything should be pre-planned. And the next one is surveying, as I told at that time also, that when I was discussing the domain a couple of slides earlier. It's very, very important. It's a very important pre-work we have to do before starting the construction in a site. And at the time of doing survey, we also have to investigate the site. What is the condition of the site? What are the materials available near to the site? So what is the condition of the ground of that site is having? So everything we have to go and we have to see in detail. We have to the perfect visual inspection should be there. So the site investigation is also very, very important. We have to do before construction. So once we come up with a proper surveying report and a feasibility study and all, we have to sit and plan for design, and we have to do the perfect drawing, which comes in the fourth point. You can see planning, designing, and drawing. So this is very also important. So you have to go for a proper plan. You have to come up with a proper design based on the soil capability of taking load, and the design should be very good design. A good design means nowadays, if you see that people used to do very rushly, people used to do some work, or they want to submit the project as early as possible to the client and all. And in most of the case, I have seen that there is a very poor designing due to lack of time. Lack of time in the sense they are not ready to give time when they are designing, or simply they are using some common aspects of design what we all know. So they're using these particular things as some great buildings design as it's an important building as well. And proper drawing is also not nowadays available. And if a drawing is there, lot of wrong informations are there. I have seen some drawings like this in construction site. I won't say the name of the construction companies. So these are all the human errors. I understand these are all human errors, but you have to cross check very properly, very nicely. You have to do the cross check so that once the drawing goes to the site and when it goes to the hand of the engineer, mm, they will start executing the work based on this drawing. So it's a duty of structural engineer to deliver the design perfect. It's a very important thing. I have seen some concreting method also in a pier of a bridge where in a mass concrete there is some 2 or 3 bricks. When that imaging has been done, when the pier has been scanned by thermal imaging process, it has been seen that there are some bricks over there. So that much of poor workmanship is also available nowadays in our society. So this is not good actually. So you have to plan the things in such a way, and you have to design. The designing is the thing that you are doing. So actually, that when we come particularly in the part of design, it's a very important role for structural engineers. So you have to take care of all those things. You should know about all those things, and all civil engineers should know, and they should not mm, do some poor workmanship. They should not do something wrong in their duty. So because it involves with the safety of our society, the particular users, those who are using that particular bridge, that I example that I told. So it depends upon the it involves the safety of the public and the users that who are going to use that particular units. So estimating is also important because we are having a particular budget for for the project. So estimating of things, how to execute the work, what type of materials you have to use. Based on the budget, everything will come, and estimating is quite important when you're going to. So coming up with a very good design which costs more is not also a good idea always. So you have to think about these things also. What is your budget? What kind of material you can use? So the selection of materials also is linked with the design. So based with the design, your materials will come. If your design is of one kind, there will be one type of materials that you have. You just kept in your mind while you are designing. So everything you have to take care. So estimating is a very important thing. And after coming up with the design and proper plan, with a proper drawing, you have to recheck with your estimation that this is the proper drawing of each and every. Suppose I am going to take an example of a building. Suppose it is a G+2 building. Suppose take as an example G+2 building. So you have a proper drawing of each and every floors. You have a proper planning and designing, everything is there. So from that particular design and drawing, you have to estimate how much the cost may be, how much is that what quantity of materials you need, and how much it will cost, what is the current rate of all those materials in market. So based on that, you have to make an estimation. So nowadays, a lot of softwares are also available to do all those things. Revit architecture is there, 3D Max are there. So like that, a lot of that softwares are nowadays available. If you just draw the design over there, they will give you the full estimation. And you can select materials also over there of the particular. Suppose in wall you want to make some special painting, you can select the materials from the software. They will give the rate. And if you want some proper tiling process or tiling mechanism in your floor, you can select the options over there. It will give you the estimation. So each and everything you have to consider, and you have to come up with a proper estimation. So now you have to match your estimation with the budget. So ultimately, the whole thing is linked with government. Most of the projects are government projects. So you have to take care of all those things. You have to see that your design, your material selections, your drawing, everything is matching with the estimation or not, with the budget or not. So like that, if it is not matching, then again you have to redesign. You have to cut something, or you have to include. So if it is coming, suppose your budget is high but your estimation came low, so you can improve your design, or you can improve your drawing, or you can include something. But if it crossed, then you have to cut something. So like that you have to do. So after doing the estimations and all, you have to come with a plan which is known as scheduling. How to execute the work, step-by-step process. So this is very, very important. Scheduling of work is very, very important. That is also one example I have seen in Northeast. I will not tell the thing. In Northeast, I have seen one example. Due to some, I think some miscommunication and all, it happened. The work which was to be done tomorrow was done today. It happened like that, and 1 week work has to be demolished for this kind of thing. So they have the 1 week work has been demolished, and again they have redid all those things again. So scheduling is very, very important. So actually it happens in the flyover construction, and in the ramp work where there is a landing of flyover, the people used to give some panels over the both sides of the flyovers. Some mismatching they did over there, and they used to give some band from the panels to the mid of the ramp work, so that the panels doesn't go away from the main track. But instead of giving the bolt, they have did something with welding and all. So the scheduling was not proper, and then again they have to demolish everything, and a huge loss was there. And not only loss, obviously it's a great loss because everything is oriented towards money. It's a great loss, but the time and everything is waste. So proper scheduling is very, very important. And how to execute the work. So if you had a proper schedule in your hand, you can properly execute the work. So these are some of the things we have to keep in our mind before going construction, before starting any construction process. Or these are the preliminary works of before constructions. So now we can see the second part is the during construction part we have to do. So during construction, if you say what you have to do, the main and important, the utmost important thing is we have to construct. We have to construct the things. That beyond constructing, what are the things we can do? So these are all the things. So dealing with the clients, consulting engineers and contractors. So we have to deal nicely with the clients so that we both are happy. So this is also an art. So this you should know about how to deal with the clients. And consulting engineers. So nowadays in each and every construction company, they're having civil engineers, structural engineers, and the different domain engineers with the site itself. So whenever any situation comes wrong, or if anything comes wrong with at the time of executing work, you have to consult engineers or site engineers. So consulting engineers is one of the important part, and as well as contractors, because the main important reason for contractor is supplying of materials and all those things. So without materials, you cannot execute work. So these are the things we have to do. Then estimation of materials. So what are the materials that are coming into site? How much you have used? So these all the things you have to estimate. You have to keep a proper documentation. You have to maintain a proper documentation of all those things. So these are some of the things we have to do at the time of doing constructions. And the main important thing is execution and supervision. You have to supervise each and every person, each and every workers are doing things correctly or not. The execution should be done properly. And quality control. When you say quality control, it's nothing but the testing process that we used to do in a construction site after doing some construction work. We used to cut some core of the sample, or we used to see some by do some thermal imaging process. So we have to ensure that the quality of the construction is good. So I think in the tender itself, when we are submitting tender, in the tender itself, we have to give some protocol like that. After completing this much of work, these are all the tests we are going to do to see the quality control. So if the test performs well, then we pay for the next part, or the payment will be done like that. Because if we say like that to the tender, then the quality of the work will be really good. If you see, I have told some of the incidents, these are not good actually. So the quality of construction is very, very important, because it deals with the public utility. Because different, huge amount of publics are going to use a lot of structures. And if you see normal building also, human being is going to stay over there. So safety matters. So we have to be very ensured that the quality of the work was good and is good. So the costing as well, you have to do the costing. You have to know what are the things, materials that are coming in the sites and all, as I told in the estimation of materials. So these are the things we have to do during construction. So I am just giving the outline. So if these are not the technical things that you are going to do. So these are the outlines of, in brief I am telling. So if you say the quality control, here comes big ocean of things to do. So a lot of tests and a lot of things are there. You can see I have some case study of some projects where they have did some 8 to 9 months of quality testing process. A lot of tests are there. This will come in this. I'll discuss something of all those things in the second module, part 2, the repair methodology. So we see some of the details over there. As I told, it's not possible to go in the whole that in deep. So these are all the things we have to do during constructions. So now here comes after construction part we have to do. So once the construction is finished, it doesn't mean that, yeah, it's everything is okay, pack up and go. So no, it's not like that. You have to regularly monitor the structure. Is it performing according to the desire or according to the design? Is it serving the purpose and all? You have to check regularly. Otherwise, there is a risk issues there or some safety issues there. So after constructions, that monitoring of structures, then maintenance and repair of structure, then testing as well. Again, we have to do some tests. There also is to cut some core of the specimens or from any place where it creates some problem or where some cracks comes. We used to do some testing over there, and based on the amount of degradation or deterioration, we have to do the strengthening work also if it repairs. And then we have to, if we do some repair work, we have to be very ensured that the life cycle cost of the repair or strengthening work should be very less. We have to design a perfect design method so that, sorry, so that it serves the purpose of doing the repair work and strengthening work. So maintenance and repair. So in the picture also you can see some of in the top left picture, some of the persons are doing some flexural strengthening by using carbon fiber filaments. So for diploma students, it will be somewhat new to, maybe new to you people. So these are actually some techniques we are using some fiber filaments or composite filaments for strengthening structures in either for compressive behavior or maybe flexural behavior, whatever. So in the right side of the picture, you can see a person is doing some patching work, but already patching work is over. So he's doing that painting work. He's giving some cover to protect the patching work of a beam. This is both of the work is from India only. The first work actually the IIT people they did it for a building which was attacked with fire. They did this work, and the next work is also from India. It's actually beam. They are strengthening on beam. They're strengthening on beam work by doing some patching work. So we have to continuously monitor the structure. If any leakage is there, we have to check, and we have to always keep our terrace clean, because nowadays we are using some terracotta type of tiles over the roofs. But if the sealing of the tiles is not good, if the sealing between the two tiles is not good, then there is a chance of leaking of water, rainwater and all. So which may get stored over the top of the roof, and slowly it can damp the structure or the particular slab or the particular area of the slab. So we have to keep on monitoring regularly, cleaning of all those things and maintaining the structure. So this is also very important for getting the expected life cycle or the life of the structure. So now these are some of the roles of civil engineers. So civil engineers are considered as the builder of the society. So whenever you do some work, any type of infrastructure development, whatever, wherever the work is going on, whatever may be the project, we are always invited to do this work. Civil engineers, without civil engineers, you cannot develop the infrastructure of the society. So they are called as the builder of the society. So from this aspect, you have to follow the few rules as noted below. They should always design a safe design for the public. So the word in the first line, the safe design. Safe design means the design should serve the purpose. It should not fail to serve the purpose. So the design comes with everything. It may be of concrete means design. It may be reinforced design, RC design. It may be the planning and drawing about the things. It may be the design of each and everything. Design is not only what is there in the drawing. Design in civil engineers, people used to think that design means we just draw something in a A2 or A3 sheet, take a drafter, draw something is a design. No, this is a part of design. This is a part of design. Design comes with a lot of things. Even the mixing of concrete, how much water, how much amount of water, how much amount of flammable mix, how much amount of porcelain we have to mix. That is also comes under design. So the design should be safe. The next one is they should not follow poor workmanship. So this is very, very, I will say it's a crime if you follow poor workmanship. You should not just play with the safety of the public, as I told earlier. So you should not follow poor workmanship. So they should have enough patience. So why I have given this point here? So I have seen a case of repair work of concrete. Some that honeycomb structure was there due to elastic shrinkage, and also some other issues came of leakage and all. So ultimately, the bus which was present in the concrete structure got corroded due to the formation of cracks and all. So now there is one technique which is known as galvanic cathodic protection, CP method, which is known as CP method, galvanic anode cathodic protection. So in that, what we used to do, we are going to introduce some artificial anodic system in a concrete assembly or in a concrete system by either by drilling or by when we're going to do some that encasing work over there. So to reduce the corrosion. So there is a test available to see that the galvanic anode which is available in the market is working properly or not. Before installing this particular material, not only for, I am giving this as an example. Suppose you are going to use a cement. We have to test that the cement is good. You know what are the good properties of cement. What the properties a good cement should have. You know all those things, but you have to go for a test. But in most of the case, if you see, people are not doing tests. They are not giving that particular time of doing all those things. So ultimately, the structure comes up with lot of deterioration before that expected life cycles of the structure. So this is a very bad thing. So you should have enough patience of doing all those things. If you have a good patience, you are a good civil engineer. Civil engineers should have patience because, as I told earlier, we are dealing with the nature. So you cannot predict anything as the other engineers or other civil engineers can able to do. I'm not criticizing them, or I'm not comparing them. So if you take as an example of anything, so the discovery or the innovation what they're having in their mind, they know what the result will come. They know what is the input. This is the input, and if I give this input, then this output will come. They know each and everything. But in the case of civil engineering, you cannot predict anything. You cannot predict anything. Anything may happen. So there is nothing called as perfect in this civil engineering. We have to have enough patience. We have to do a lot of practice. We have to do a lot of homework before going to the site. We have to consider each and everything. You cannot neglect. You cannot neglect even the quantity of water that you are going to add in the quantity. You cannot neglect the accuracy of this quantity of water that should be added. You cannot neglect it. If you neglect, if you add as much as you want, then it will create a problem. So I gave one example. So like that, in each and every step, you have to have a very enough patience. So they should be technically sound. So sorry, I had mentioned that they should be technically sounded. So they should be technically sound. So you should know the things. You should be technically very good. If you have any doubt, don't execute the work. Meet some good engineers, try to learn. Learning is a continuous process. So don't hesitate to share your doubt to anyone. If you hesitate, if you start hesitating to share your doubts, you can think that you are going down. So and again I am telling, it's not a simple thing you are doing. It's a public property. We are dealing with public property as well. So the safeness of the structure and the quality of the structure also matter. So without, if you have a doubt or if you don't know that particular situation, if you don't know how to deal in this particular situation, it's better to meet some experienced engineers or that particular domain engineers to clarify your doubts. So you should be very good in technical skills. So in the I will again discuss this point in the next job opportunity part. In that part we will see. Then now the next one is they should not adopt wrong or poor practice or construction methods, as I told. They should not involve themselves in any crime activities. Crime activities means I think to know all those things. And, so you should not involve yourself in any of the crime activities, because we are the future of of a society. So the society, the development of the society in each and everything is based on civil engineers. If the civil engineers are involving themselves in any crime activities, it is a very sad news for the society. So okay. So I have given some of the job opportunities in engineering, because nowadays there is a great and a very quoted question. What I can do after doing civil engineering or after doing diploma as well. So my option or my suggestion is that if you have a diploma degree with you, it's better to come up with a degree course. It's better to come in a degree course, because once you complete the degree in civil engineering, you have a huge amount of scope to explore across the globe, not only in India, not only our nation, across the globe you have a great opportunity. So I have mentioned, so on survey actually, the Royal Institute of Chartered, they did some survey and they have predicts that there is a great demand supply gap. A great demand supply gap is there, and that gap is of 44 million crore civil engineering professionals in India. So by 2020, there will be that much of gap of civil engineers professionals if you see broadly. But the projects and all, because now you will say that it's not easy to get a job in core company for civil engineers. I will say that from the last 20 years or 15 years, the situation was like that. In other companies, in other sectors, people will take you, people will hire you, and they will give you training. They will expend some money on you for training you people, maybe of 3 months training, 6 months training, or whatever. But in the case of civil engineering, actually, suppose I am the government or you are the government, I am that company. The government has given me one project. So from government, they will give a particular amount to me according to the budget, and I have to utilize that budget for doing or for executing the work. I have the technology and government is using my technology, and for that particular activity they are giving us the budget of doing that work. So now if I if I hire a unskilled civil engineer, then I have to train him. So how can I train him? If I train him, I have to give some salary also to him. So any of the core companies, especially civil engineers, they don't waste money by training you people. Be sure in that. So you have to be very, very skilled in the technical part, and you need to be very sound in technical. So this is the main particular reason why students are not easily getting job in civil engineering domain and as well as code. If you see the theoretical part of civil engineering and the practical part of civil engineering is quite different. So you should know, you should have enough practical knowledge of this each and every domain, each and every part, subjects for you should not have any doubts, especially for the in the practical fields, in the practical things when you're going to attend some interview. So this is some suggestion. So you can go through these things. I'll share all those things with you. So here I have mentioned some of the important data for the job opportunities in civil engineering. And in India, if you see, if you are a good and skilled civil engineer, you can get a salary of at least 3 lakh per annum. You will say that it's not correct, sir, or it's not correct, but it's correct. I'm not talking about the promoters and the builders, what is available across our society. They, if you work under them, they won't give you a good salary. But if you work under a registered company, civil engineering company, construction company, then this is the basic pay, in average basic pay in India. And in USA, you can get some 18 lakhs per annum, and some data from Singapore, I got 12 lakhs per annum. So these are the data I have shared. Once after completing the webinar, I will share all the slides at that time you can check. So there are a lot of PSUs are there. So one more thing I also want to tell you people. Civil engineers are having a great opportunity of doing government job, and they can explore in that particular government job or public sector units in a very wide, with having a very wide opportunity. So if you see ISRO, NGC, CSIR, the railway departments, Airport Authority of India, Water Resource Department, Indian Road Congress, Indian Concrete Society, Bureau of Indian Standards, a lot of the departments and bodies are there to help skilled civil engineers, and with a very good screening process as well, on for getting government job. So compared to other domain of engineering, civil engineers are having enough and huge scope to explore in different government sectors and PSU sectors, public sectors. So here I will share some of the links. You can see some links of the very, very popular construction company across the nation. The Shapoorji Pallonji Company Limited is there. Then L&T Construction Company is there. And then Gammon India, Gammon Infrastructure Projects Limited, Tata Projects, Hindustan Construction Company, Nagarjuna Construction Company is also there. So a lot of good companies are there where you can explore and you can build up your career in a very nice way. Don't think that there is no job, there is no scope of civil engineers, and it's the market of civil engineers is going back. No, actually it doesn't have skilled engineers, and a lot of the colleges we are failing to manufacture good engineers. So I will use that word, manufacture. This is very, very important. We have to manufacture good civil engineers, and the students, you also have to understand the situation of the market, and no one will entertain you if you don't know anything. You should be very technically you should be very sound. You should be quite sound in the technical things. You should know, because no one will encourage you by paying at the in training session or in some training time in construction companies, because everything deals with the government project, and the amount is also coming from government. So we cannot waste that amount by giving some training to the people. You can go and do some in-plane training over there. You can go and do some their internships over there in any construction company, but they won't hire you and pay you for 3 months or 6 months in your training period, what other companies used to do. Don't think like it, because it deals with whole and whole. It deals with the government project. So the amount that which is coming, the budget which is coming for that particular project is limited. So you should be very technically good for getting a job, and the practical knowledge as well I told. So huge number of scopes and huge scopes are there to explore if you see in broad. I will suggest it's better to continue diploma, that degree course after doing diploma. And our college and the Department of Civil Engineering of Anand Institute of High Technology is having a good, very good lab facilities and very good arrangements to make you suitable for that particular stage to go in that particular platform. We are also giving some weekly basis teachings and learnings for how to crack government exams. We are also conducting a lot of seminars. We are also conducting different workshops as well to understand different types of situations that you have to face when you have to go in construction site. And we have different types of e-learning that bondings with different sectors, and also with the NPTEL, IIT Madras. So in the next part of the video or the session, I will share some of the materials from IIT Madras, from NPTEL course. I will share some information based on the repair methodology of civil engineering. And here you can see the last link of this slide, that some of the top construction companies, if you click that site, you can see that some of the top construction companies and how to explore in those particular companies, how to apply job in that. So you can easily check over there. So you can utilize, I will share all these things after the end of the webinar. I will share. You can easily see all those things. So these are all the references that I have used for making this presentation. So I want to say thank you. So I'll hope all you will come and join with us in the second session, part 2. What is that repair methodology of civil engineering works? So I again wants to thank our management for conducting such workshop and webinar as well. So hope so you're all good, and stay safe. Bye. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video.